Hello and welcome to Teacher Needs a Drink podcast. I am Elvis, your host. I'm here to let you know that this is a not safe for work podcast. We are teachers at the end of the week and really the end of our ropes, and we'd like to be able to talk honestly and openly about education without having to worry about losing our jobs. So we'll be using pseudonyms throughout the podcast. I'd like to start by giving a big shout out to all of our Patreon patrons. That's right, if you like this podcast for as little as $5, $10 a month, you can sign up for Patreon to get access to over 100 bonus episodes. There's a Facebook group. There's all kinds of stuff that goes along with it. So you should check it out. And one of the other perks is you get your name right at the beginning of the podcast. So let's start with a big thank you to Inga, Kaylee, Terry J, Tracy B, Miss Wonderstats, Quentin P, Ekabex, Mistress Mischief, Natasha S, Miss Anthropy, Princess Buttercup, Dragon Lady, Helena C, Aaron B, Stephanie S, Texas Teacher Kristen, James Nally J, Jody D, Samantha D, Lisa C, Rachel, Jen Genie, Exhausted Band Director, Kimberly K, Jessica A, Swiffle Ev Owners, Amanda F, Ariana L, Physics Runner, Steph, Michael M, William P, Aldrich T, La Scorpianita, Britt M, Teresa H, Biker Teach, Marsha M, Christina B, Jason F, Abby B, Sarah B, Regina N, Josie B, Sam B, Mary E, Jamie B, Kristen W, Vanessa J, Mary C, RJ R, Christina C, Johanna H, Irma A, Nimi, and Sarah N. A big thank you to all of them. Also, if you're a theater teacher or you know one in your building, go to Lud Lamb Dramatics. They're an online service that provides excellent resources for educational theater classrooms. So if you're a theater teacher or you know a history teacher who's been forced to do a play, go to Lud Lamb Dramatics and get your room set. Get everything you need. All right, folks, this is episode 182, and I'm still taking a little hiatus. I'm working on doing some really exciting stuff for the podcast. It's going to start very soon, and so just bear with me as we're in this mild transition period, and things are going to be pretty awesome. So today you have Count, Care Bear, and Mama Chicken all meeting up to talk, and they do a wonderful job. I love them so much, and I'm so grateful they're doing it. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll be back in just a couple weeks.
Yes,
balls.
There we go. Balls. And with that rendition, shout out to Madam Bunny O'Hare. I welcome you all to this episode of Teacher Needs a Drink podcast. I am your substitute teacher for the day, Count Chocolate, and I am joined by Mama Chicken.
This finger licking good.
Yes, it is. I am also joined by the lovely and welcoming here back, Madam Care Bear.
Hello, folks. Glad to be here.
First and foremost, I want to say welcome. We have missed you.
So this is Miss Care Bear. I am in North Carolina, and I had the wonderful pleasure of hanging out with Mama Chicken this weekend. We happen to be in the same mountainous area. And I was there for my 5-year anniversary, and it is one of my most favorite places to go, which is Asheville, North Carolina, and it's basically like a brew mile. And so everywhere you walk, there's delicious craft beer. And not to get too wordy and lengthy, and it's been a while since I've been on, the transition to elementary has been insane. In a wonderful way. And I have such props for Elvis because I don't know how he has any energy at the end of the day of working with levels. We are in the last 9 weeks of my school. So and it's weird because this entire year has flown by and now it's like we've just hit the brakes and then we're like moving like molasses at this point, which is funny.
It's that slow time.
It is. And so we have like the last 2 weeks of school is nothing but our end of grades tests. And so it's just like, Count, I'm pulled for testing. I know that you're going to be pulled for testing. And so my counts stop around the 12th of May. And like I won't have like as many weekly meetings and I won't do any more lessons for teachers after that because we're going to be having some staffing changes. I feel like I have established a positive professional reputation, and I've had several staff members reach out to me and say, and I know that we're losing this position, but does that mean that, you're not going to get help next year? And I said, no, it's my understanding we're going to get help. But they're like, she needs to stay. Like, you need to make sure that she stays. And I said, no, I want to be an elementary school counselor forever. Like this is it for me. I'm good. I'm really good.
Okay. So even with the staff changes, I'm actually really glad that you're saying that, hey, we need this position. This person's going to need help, going to need support, because I absolutely dread, and I know most educators dread, positions going away and not being filled, meaning that, hey, we're just going to split up these responsibilities that were attached to a salary, to your already existing salary, not give you any more. But here, let's add a few more responsibilities. Mama Chicken, tell us about meeting up with Care Bear and what's going on. Like, y'all just having these get-togethers and not inviting us?
I know, right? Well, y'all got to live like damn 700 miles away. I am in crunch time. EOGs are coming. My benchmark test scores weren't good. I'm in a new grade and a new school, and so I guess the dip is natural, but there's been a lot of pressure. And, I'm sorry. You were asking about me at Care Bear. Oh, I'm telling you about school first. There has been a lot of pressure.
Go for it.
And I'm going for it.
Go for it.
So, reevaluating things, but it's cool. It's good. It's just a lot of stress. It's fine. I took a mental health day tomorrow so that I can finish. I've got 4 major deadlines this week. So I took a day so I could do it all, because I didn't even get a planning last week because it was meetings and trainings and meetings.
In my world here in North Texas, we're ramping up because it's end of the year. It is prom season. And let me tell you, I chaperoned 2 proms this weekend. One with the Countess and one for her school, and then one with mine. And so we went to the school with the Countess first. There's great. It was amazing. There's like catered foods and these ginormous silver platters. We were there early, so it wasn't too crowded. You get to see all your favorite students that walk in. The long formal dresses, the makeup, the nails. This year, I would say maybe 40 to 50% of the ladies that I saw show up, they came with tennis shoes. Specifically because once you get there and after you take pictures, those dress shoes are going into a bag. The bag and coat check-in was the longest line, so we had to recruit some extra people for it. And they signed up for that. Their kids were, as soon as they walked in, taking off shoes and whatever. The food was great. The DJ was really into it. There was a live monkey. And I guess that's the tradition of the high school. Yeah. For each of the past several years, they've had a monkey and a monkey trainer come, and you can come take pictures with the trainer and the monkey. I don't think you can hold the monkey because you just don't trust high schoolers with animals that are not theirs. And you can like pet it, and you can stand next to it and take pictures.
Pet my monkey.
Oh my God.
Right? I was like, how's this going to go? So prom number 1 of that night was great.
You Texans are weird. Sorry.
We do things a little different. They say everything's bigger in Texas. I think everything's just weirder.
But I love you.
Everything is just off the rails in northern Texas. But prom number 2 was not as elaborate as the first one, but we walked in, there was a red carpet, so we walked on a red carpet just to feel fancy. And then when we walked into the actual dance venue, I think we had made it in for about 180 seconds, maybe 3 minutes. And a full-on argument broke out, and another girl was threatening to pepper spray another one. And I didn't realize it as I stepped in. I just heard the yelling. I was like, hey, what's going on? And then she was like, bitch, I'll pepper spray you. And I was like, oh, no, I'm in the middle. And so that turned into a quick, like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Like, hey, you stay over here. You stay right here. Split it up. We had to, you're not allowed to technically carry pepper spray. So we had her put that in the car and then go elsewhere. And we were just trying to
wait a second. You went from a dancing monkey party to a pepper spray fight?
I mean, 2 different venues. They were about 10 miles apart. The vibe was a little bit different. What can I say? There was a lot of dancing in all of them. But like I said, my favorite part about prom is seeing students dress up and, come and have a great time, you see the full personality.
Yeah.
There was one gentleman, and I know his pronouns are he and him, but he had on a full bodysuit with like a Maleficent hat that has the horns.
Okay.
I
Right
saw
on.
multiple students in suits, tuxedos, their mermaid dresses with sequins. I saw maybe 3 dozen gentlemen like carrying the train of their date's dress. And I was like, all right. And I thought trains were only really wedding dresses, but I call anything that drags behind you a train.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, just pick it up in 2-3 bunches and carry it and roll with that. I was like, all right, do your thing. And it was great. I know my prom experience is pretty good, but do you guys enjoy being at prom or seeing prom? What are your thoughts?
I did. I mean, like that's what I did last year. I love it. What I love is finding who I guess has found each other. I guess is the word I'm looking for. The couples that come out, because
Yep.
the phrase I keep hearing is every lid has a pot, and or every pot has a lid or something along those lines. And I'm like, okay, well that makes sense now that you two found each other.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes.
And but I think, I mean, and that's what I loved. I loved seeing the kids have a good time because all of our seniors, like, graduation is in sight, and this is a wonderful night for them to cut loose a little bit. We had several teachers who either had left or retired, would always come back. And so that was always good to have a nice little reunion. And then always the teachers who could go out would. And so it was a fun, crazy night for the teachers who were the chaperones. And the funny story I have is I've always tried to convince my husband to come to prom. And the one time I convinced him to come, he got sick immediately after because, he doesn't have the immune system that we do. And so he went to the doctor the next day, and the doctor said, "Have you been around children in the past 24 to 48 hours?" And he goes, "Yes, I have." I'm like, "No, you haven't. It doesn't count." And so, my last year at my previous school, I was like, "I just want one song. If you can just please come for just one song, that's all I want." And he showed up and I had the DJ play our wedding song, which
Really?
was Ray Lamonte, "You Are the Best Thing." And I said, "If you can just play this around like 10:30, I'd really appreciate it." And so my husband showed up and came for one song, and and then he's like, "Are you coming home?" And I was like, "Yep, sounds good. My curfew's done. we can go home." So, but yeah, he's just not he's one of those that he used to be a teacher. He taught Spanish for 9th and 10th graders, and then hated it so much he would rather be a cashier at McDonald's. And so he was like, "I can't be a teacher." So he just doesn't like working.
For everyone.
It is not.
I'm more impressed that the DJ took requests. Most DJs now at prom, they're like, "No," or "You want to hear that? Sure." And then like you got to wait 45 minutes. But both DJs seem to be rocking at the proms I was at. So
Yeah.
Mama Chicken, thoughts on prom?
Well, in middle school land, we don't really have prom. However, we have a May dance. And it is like baby prom, where these sweet little girls get checked out at noon the night, the day of. They get their hair did and their nails did, and they put on their fancy dresses, and they go to their fancy location. And sometimes it's the gym, and sometimes it's somewhere else. And I think this year, I think it's next Friday that we have our May dance. I think I might go because this year I have an older grade level, so more of my students are likely to be there. And I love them, so I kind of want to see them all dressed up. So that's about. But it's at 7 and it ends at 9.
There you go.
It's so much easier for me. But that's about like the prom, quote unquote, prom experience that I get.
Yeah, I forgot the girls got pepper sprayed. I mean, like at the previous district I worked, we would wand the kids and breathalyze them before they were allowed to enter prom.
Yeah.
So
As we should. As we
Right?
should. I'm a witness. We should.
Oh yeah.
I will say, as my own personal prom story, at my senior prom, this band was supposed to show up and they didn't. So they had to just play music with this little, like, you know, tape player boombox thing with the microphone hooked
Oh
up.
my God.
But do you know the name of that band that was supposed to play? The Backstabbers. Yeah, we should have known.
Oh no.
Yeah, you should have known they were going to take that deposit
You
and run.
can't make that shit up. You
Oh
cannot
my
make that shit
God.
up.
That's crazy.
Let's talk about teacher crushes.
Okay.
I don't recall really having crushes on my teachers. When I was a freshman in high school, I had a really cute history teacher. But I also had her husband second period. So like he kind of killed that whole vibe for me, but it gave me hope because I didn't find him to be that handsome and he could pull her. I was like, ooh, I could probably find me a nice one. Like if he can get this one. So in my role at my high school, I get a little bit of everything that comes across my desk. And this past week, a teacher brought me a letter that a student wrote. And the student wrote a pretty, I guess I'll say, vivid recount of a dream she had about the teacher, and it had been eating her up for a couple of weeks. And so mom's advice was to tell the teacher, like, hey, my daughter has something she wants to share with you. It's kind of personal. I told her maybe it's better just to get it off her chest and let you know. And I guess the student dropped off this letter recounting the dream to the teacher. And 5 minutes later, the teacher was in my office like, I don't know what to do with this. And I was like, do I need to read this? So we took it to admin. And then basically what we did is we called the parents in with the daughter, not to embarrass her because mom was aware of how that worked. And just to be like, hey, I want to let you know that I don't, kind of reciprocate these feelings because it seemed very, very vivid. Like she had some strong feelings. And then she played it real cool. Like, no, it was just a dream. And I felt like I should let you know. And it was kind of awkward, but yet it was handled very well. But I think after the parents and the daughter, and the student left, the teacher was like, dude, I'm a little freaked out. And I was like, hey, just do your job. Don't overstep.
Yeah.
Just, do what you got to do. But I think it all kind of, personally, I think it stemmed from a crush. Very handsome teacher, athletically fit.
Oh yeah.
He used to be a coach, but he works out a lot, that kind of a thing. He's not very flirty. He's actually kind of like awkward, but I was just curious. Y'all have any,
Well,
teacher
no,
crush stories?
It's so interesting with dreams because my husband and I talk about our dreams all the time, and he has way more exciting dreams than I do. And so he had, gone down the rabbit hole of dreams on the internet and was like, your brain can't create images. So like any person you see in your dream is someone you've either seen like in passing or, whatever. So, I mean, like, not that I'm saying it makes sense for this high school student to have dreams about her teacher, but I get it. With crushes, I think I remember like a substitute way back when I was a middle school kid, and he was like, the Ken doll, blonde hair, blue eyes, and like, tall, really tall, and as like a 7th grader. And I think as luck would have it, we were talking about Romeo and Juliet that day, but like, not really any crushes on teachers I've had. Now, definitely like a little more like flutter of a heart with some of the younger teachers that I've worked with. Like there was this one PE teacher, nice guy, was the tennis coach, super nice, but oh my word, like he would just wink at everybody, and like, but I would just be all like, I could feel my face get hot every time he would like wink at me. And I'm trying to play it cool, and I'm just like, good to see you too. I'm just gonna sip my coffee here. It's just really warm. I'll have a nice day. Like walk off and try to just not, be awkward. But it's just one of those things that I remember. But no crushes on a teacher that I couldn't like concentrate and get my work done. How about you, Mama Chicken?
Well,
Yes,
first of all, I used to work with this guy a long time ago,
Woo woo.
Papa Chicken, who looked like Matthew McConaughey. So
I
every time I
almost
see him, I'd
brought
be
up
like,
Matthew McConaughey in the
woo,
midst of this. I'm sorry to cut you off.
woo.
In the midst of this, I almost brought this up because
Yeah.
I saw on a TikTok, and I'm not even a big TikToker. I never do it. But there was a there was a young lady that took his class at UT Austin, and every day she was in class, she just gushed over him like, "Oh, I'm so in love with him, so in love with him." And it was like, he's obviously a celebrity, but she was just equating it as like a teacher crush. And I was like, but you're grown and he's grown. Like it's actually kind of like a celebrity stalker. But okay, go ahead, tell your story. I was just thinking about Matthew McConaughey too. It's crazy.
Oh, I'll just say this one guy, we worked together and he was saying something about his wife and when they conceived their child. And I was sitting next to him and like my face got so red and I was like, woo, we need to change the subject. That's so cute. But anyway, that's beside the point. I only have one experience with teacher crushes, and it was when I taught freshman composition at the university level. And I had this older guy. I was going through a divorce because Mr. Chicken's my second. But I was going through a separation divorce, and this older non-traditional students, we call them, took my class because it was a night class. And he would sit in the back and then he'd try to talk to me after class, but I was always like swamped with all these questions with other students and really busy. So I'd answer him quickly and he'd leave. And I was like super in shape at this. I was hot. I was a hot chicken. Anyway, if I do say so myself, but, I'm sorry. So he started sending me emails and I would just like reply like, okay, sure. And then they got a little creepier. At first they were just kind of like, you know what I mean? People like us, things like that. Like, okay, sure, whatever you want to write your paper on, that's cool. And then they got a little creepier. And then they were like, no, he was like, no, I mean like I'm divorced too and you're divorced. So like, we're both single. And I'm like, wait, what? Is this guy have a crush on me? And he got creepier and stalkier and like weirder and more aggressive with these emails. So I started blind CCing like my department head and, she had to intervene. It's been so long ago. It's been like 20 years. God, I'm old. I don't remember exactly how it turned out, but he was removed from my class, basically. Because he was all stalky and weird. And eventually I just turned it over to my supervisor and I refused to answer his emails got like accusatory, like, I smiled at you, you didn't smile back, you're being such a jerk, like stuff like that. It was really weird. But yeah, that's my story.
I guess my thing is I'm just like, why did we have to let the teacher know? Like it's a tiny like crush, like what purpose does that serve?
I'm not sure how that kind of went. I remember having a conversation and we were looking like, should we take it to admin? We don't necessarily need to remove the student from class. But I think she just thought about it so much and felt like she had to get it off her chest. I didn't ask that many more questions because I was like, I feel like the more I ask, the more awkward it gets. And so I was like, we can just kind of put a bow on this and agree to just finish the year and happy graduation coming up. So let's get this done. I'm tunnel vision at graduation. Hey, let's get it there. And if Lord knows if something happens afterwards, but we don't worry about that.
I know. How much more time do you have in your school year? Because I know, like, I don't finish until second week of June.
I think there are 23 school days, but
my gosh,
about a month from tomorrow, or actually a month from the day that this episode airs, I believe will be our last day of school, and then graduation follows a week after that, somewhere around there. Okay. Hey guys, guess what?
What?
We have a Patreon.
You are lying.
No.
No way.
Facts. These are facts. No cap. So for $5 or $10 a month, you can be a Patreon and a supporter of this show. That gives you access to our Facebook group. That gives you access to 100+ unreleased episodes. You have access to movie watch parties. Join in with us. Have conversations with us. Communicate with us. All for just $5 to $10 a month. We love you guys. We love you, and we appreciate your support. We cannot do it without you. We just want to say thank you so much, and join now. Woohoo!
Do it, because that's where you get to hear Count sing about balls.
That's right.
Balls, 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 balls. All right, we're going to play a round of Do Date or Dump. If you've never done this, clearly you have not lived junior high or high school, right? You'll figure out how this works. Here are our 3 topics. We are going to land in the realm of Teacher Appreciation Week and how teachers are shown appreciation. So here are our 3. We are going item number 1, Do Date or Dump. We can go with a complimentary district mug. We'll say this mug has your district logo on it. And inside the mug, what do we have inside the mug? Pencils. So here's the mug. Item number 2, let's say you get a $10 gift card to Starbucks, Sonic, or Chick-fil-A, if that's what you decide you want to eat, or some other better chicken place that's actually open on Sunday. Or let's go with the infamous and always loved Jeans Pass for an entire week. Of those 3, what do you do? What do you date? What do you dump? Whoever wants to go first, feel free to weigh in.
Go ahead, Mom.
Okay. Sure. I can't even see you, Care Bear, so it's like you're not here. So I don't know if you're on or not. I mean, I hear you, but that's cool. Sorry. Okay. So I would do the gift card only if it was like to Amazon, or I guess Starbucks is okay. I don't do Chick-fil-A because of like their views. I boycott Chick-fil-A. But I mean, Starbucks. Sure. Or Staples. Woohoo. Office supplies. So I would do the gift card or date. I would date the gift card. I would do the mug only instead of pencils, like maybe chocolate pencils or just chocolate. I would do the mug. And I'm gonna dump the Jeans Pass because some days, as it is, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm wearing jeans. So I don't need a pass for that most of the time. But
Nice.
there you go.
I would do the gift card because I usually reserve Starbucks for like those mornings where I'm just don't have my poop in a group. I would definitely date the Jeans Pass. They kind of put counselors on display at my school. Like my duties, I'm either always greeting kids or I'm on carpool, and so like I'm always out front and center, so I can't really hide, unfortunately. So I would definitely date the Jeans Pack, and I will dump the coffee mug because I have enough coffee mugs. How about you, Count?
I like your reasoning. I am going to. What's the top tier of this? The date, or is it the do? I don't know what.
Yeah, I thought it was the do.
Okay, well, if the do is the top
I thought it
tier,
was the date because that's like ongoing. Like
well,
the
we're
dude's
just
like
having. Well, you know what?
one-time
We're
thing.
just giving all kind of great justifications.
But you do whatever you want to do.
I'm gonna date the gift card because that's probably the most valuable in all this to me. I will do the Jeans Pass. Although we don't really have a dress code, I do struggle with not feeling professional on a daily basis. Like if I show up in jeans and a t-shirt, I feel like I'm not about to get any work done. Like that's not it for me personally. I don't feel professional, but I'm 100% dumping the coffee mug. I don't even drink coffee. I will keep the pencils and probably issue them to students or re-gift them, but it's not something I would hold on to. I do love my district, and a district mug would be great, but any kind of gift mugs I get, just become pencil holders. Basically, for new students, when they enroll, I just hand them a few pencils. Like, hey, maybe the classroom has a sharpener. There you
go. Yeah. That's awesome.
All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. Only because I know it's getting late there, and I don't know. I'm about to finish some laundry. All right.
It's so good to talk to you.
It's so good to talk to you. It's
been a pleasure having both of you on. I want to say thank you to both of my guests. First, Mama Chicken, thank you for joining me tonight.
Oh, Cal, it's always good to talk to you. And Care Bear is a treat.
Yes, what a bonus ball. And Care Bear, thank you for sacrificing.
Thank you so much for having me on. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I look forward to this podcast every single week, and every time I'm like, I need to respond. I need to write them. And it's just like, you know, again, hats off to Elvis. I do not know how he has the energy after a day with these littles. Like it's rewarding, and they are so loving, but it is exhausting. And I just collapse when I get home. So
I don't know how he does it. But I appreciate him.
Amazed.
I love him.
But thank you so much for having me on this podcast. It's been so good to reconnect with Mama Chicken this weekend, and I'm so glad that we could join you this evening.
Hey, that's what we do. Those connections are real. So I'm going to wish you all the best week. You guys, everyone, listeners, take care of your own mental health. Make sure you're doing stuff to take care of you. Prioritize your self-care. If you don't know what self-care is, Google that. Take some time for yourself. It'll feel good. Until next time, deep breaths, deep drinks. Cheers! Woo! Thank you, y'all. And we'll be in touch soon. I love you guys. You have my number if you need anything.
All right, friends, thanks for listening to another episode of Teacher Needs a Drink podcast. I'd like to give a special shout out to Count, who picked up the reins this weekend, was able to take it all, and a big thank you to Mama Chicken and Care Bear for stepping up as well and sharing their lives with us. I'd like to give a thank you to all of our patrons who support us. I thank you so much. If you want to help out Teacher Needs a Drink podcast, go to Teacher Needs a Drink. I can't even talk anymore. Go to Patreon, look up Teacher Needs a Drink. You'll find us. It's awesome. All right. I love everyone out there. I'll be back in a week or two. We're reformatting the podcast, and so it's going to have a little life breathed into it. And so it'll be another week or so until we have that out. We'll have one more episode until the new Teacher Needs a Drink comes out. Anyway, I love all of you. Thank you so much for supporting us. And deep breaths, deep drinks. Cheers. Woohoo!